What?
What? I'm sorry, I can't understand what you're saying.
I don't know whether to keep my glasses on during stuff like this, because glare's pretty wicked, but I also can't see without it, so I'll keep them off. So this video may seem familiar to some of you. It's kind of a re-upload slash a remake of a previous video that I did where I felt the quality just wasn't up to par for what I usually do, and that's saying something because my quality isn't exactly great as it is. But I felt the audio was pretty bad. It was pretty short. It was just missing some things that I did on the kit straight up, which is pretty unforgivable. So I wanted to rectify that a bit, add some flair to it, and that's what this video is. So I really appreciate you guys checking it out again. Anyway, on to the thing. So with those niceties out of the way, we can get on to the actual video. Today we're making a Gunpla to be a part of a diorama that I'm making, which I've never done before, so that's very exciting. The diorama is going to be a mishmash of Gunpla and World War II model making. I think that's something pretty unique, and it has been done before, but I want to kind of take my spin on it. To that end, this is part one of a two-part video series, so you can keep your eyes peeled for that second part coming out at some point. I'm using two kits here primarily, which is the high-grade Stark Jaeger and the high-grade Rizel. If you remember, these are the two kits that I used in the 40k themed Ultra Grunt video that I released a while back. I do use some parts from some other kits, namely the Thunderbolt Master Grade Verka, as well as the Master Grade Jesta, both of which I used in other videos on my channel. But only a single thing from each of them, honestly, so nothing too crazy. These are the other parts from all the other kits. I actually don't end up using any of them, so it doesn't really matter. So the two things I end up using from those kits I just referred to is the backpack from the Jesta and the shield from the Thunderbolt. The backpack, the shield arm from the Rizel, and one of the shoulder cannons from the Jesta I don't end up using. And as a first for this channel, I've actually done a test fit of my Kitbash before I paint it, which is pretty goddamn wild. So the Jesta backpack actually had a shield arm that was detachable from the backpack itself. That gave me a pretty good idea to just simply take it off, snip off the part that attached to the shield arm, and instead glue it to the rocket launcher that came from the Jesta kit. This way I could take the rocket launcher off the backpack without any fuss or muss. So additionally, the Rizel shield arm also had a piece that would stick into the Rizel's arm, and you could kind of take off and on at a whim. So I just took it off and glued it to the inside of the Thunderbolt shield. This way, again, I could take the shield off, no fuss, no muss, which is something I've always kind of wanted in one of my kits because I feel like they're very busy and heavy and very delicate. This way, I had something that was a bit more sturdy. This is the kit, pretty anything. This is a test fit, which again is something I've never actually done before for the channel. This gives me a pretty good idea of what I want to paint, what color, etc. And I definitely want to get rid of that pointed out crotch thingy. I got some more practice this kit for scribing. I did a little bit of this on some previous episodes, but I wanted to go a little bit harder this one to break up some negative space, specifically on the shield here for the Master Grade Thunderbolt in the middle, because it's a little bit flat. And then on the chest of the Rizel, on specifically the top where there is kind of no separation there, again, it's a little bit flat, wanted to break that up a little bit. The other place I put it was on the waist because it was really easy to put straight lines there with my scribing tape, which is really helpful. That's kind of the theme of all the scribing on this kit, is anytime I could get away with putting down straight lines on scribing tape, that's what I did. For this project, I also tried out something new, which was painting in as much assembled pieces as I possibly could. So you can see there that the backpack and the legs are already assembled, as well as other pieces. This is a lot better and more effective than piece by piece. We can see here the end result is very similar to the end results that you would see in my other previous videos if I did paint it piece by piece. This is a lot less work, a lot less headache, so I'm kind of mad I've never done it before, but it's definitely the method I'm going to continue with going forward. The other new thing that I did this time was take a different shade of green from the main one that I did and manually hand painted specific pieces on the kit to have some color separation and break up that flatness. This is where those lines I described especially came in handy on the waist and the shield, but there are other pieces also generally that I just painted that weren't scribed in the first place, and here's a better look of it in some better light, and you can already see the massive difference this makes from the vanilla paint job. It's absolutely fantastic. Also, additionally, you may notice that I repainted the shield edge gray because the brown was absolutely not working for me. I'm very happy that I went ahead and did that. I was so pleased with the result of the color separation that I did another pass with a third shade of green, as well as breaking up some of that gray on the weapons and the leg armor and stuff like that with a different shade of gray to get an even better effect. It definitely gives the illusion that there were a lot more pieces used on this than there actually was. You could get away with saying maybe this is like, I don't know, like a real grade. I don't know. I don't want to toot my horn too much or anything like that. The next part up is the decals, of course. I had a bunch of good ones from the World War II portion of this, as well as from 40k, of course. I went with a straight white theme for the most part. Didn't go too crazy, as you know, but we'll see what they look like here on the kit in a second. So again, I spoke to this in a previous video, but I'm not one of those guys that goes too crazy on the decals. I know there's lots of builders that love to put them on every edge and line that they possibly can get away with. That's not me personally, but this is definitely a lot more than I would use in a normal kit, but I think it looks great in the end result. The Rizel shoulders also kind of have this weird circular lens area. I think the sticker sucks, so I went ahead and painted my own lens. It's pretty easy to do. All you need is 3 different blues and a white, which I will show you here in a second. But all you gotta do is paint the inner circle, all of it, the darkest blue, followed up by a half crescent of the second lightest blue that you saw there. Put a little bit of the lightest blue you can in that half crescent, then a line of white in the bottom left, 3 dots in the top right, and you are done. Another thing I really wanted to use on this kit was some camo netting. This is AK camo netting that I got from my local hobby store. What's really great about this is how malleable, I don't know if that's the right word to use here, malleable, flexible it is. As you can see, you can kind of push it out and it will go back to form if you put no tension on it, as well as you can mix it up with the other colors. So it's really easy to work with. You kind of can just tangle it around, wrap it around everything. I didn't need to glue anything down. It was able to just slide into place. As well on this kit, I did a bunch more weathering. I did a little bit of this on the Thunderbolt kit on the previous video that I did, but this time I used a new method. I just found a regular old silver metallic colored pencil. I saw people online do this, so I wanted to give it a shot myself. You kind of just use the edge of it to run to the edges of your pieces if they have straight angles. As well, you can rub it onto the actual flat parts to give yourself smudges. The black parts of the weathering, I actually did this from something I use in 40k, where you get yourself a piece of like packing sponge, I'm not also sure what you call it, as well as tweezers, and you kind of just pinch the end of a small piece. You dab it into some black paint, and you quickly just do a little taparoo there on all the different pieces, and that's what gives you your black smudges, which is really great. So those are all the steps that I wanted to show off for this particular kit. Again, this is part 1 of 2 of a diorama series, so keep your eyes peeled for that second part if you want. But otherwise, here we are headed into the showcase. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I liked making it, because honestly, I think that was some of the cleanest work that I've done. Just pure kit-wise, I mean, because I feel like it's a lot less busy than the other ones. It doesn't really have any complex shoulder shit going on, you know what I mean? So as a bonus part to this video, I kind of want to show off my current hobby room setup, just if you guys thought that was interesting. So here's my computer, where I do a bunch of video editing as well as general gaming, and working from home sometimes if I gotta. Right beside that, I have a neat little desk set up for mainly mini painting because I have a bunch of Warhammer armies. That actually leads me into my next question, which would be if you guys have kind of any general interest in seeing my Warhammer armies. I can kind of do like a video showcase on them. I have an Imperial Guard 40k army and a Khorne Demon army for Age of Sigmar and 40k, as well as working on a Fire Slayer army for Age of Sigmar. I think those could be kind of cool. I'm not sure how adjacent it is to my Gunpla fans, the very few of them that I have, because I don't have a viewed subscriber count or anything. But hey, look, my second monitor I can push out and watch stuff while I paint. Isn't that neat? I can of course turn it sideways. I just have a hard time doing that when I'm recording with one hand. So yeah, if you guys do want to see that, I can kind of make videos for that. I'm not sure how much interest there would be in that. The 40k mini painting YouTube place is very saturated. So this is also where I have extra storage. This is where I keep my current armies. The Imperial Guard army there is very yellow, and it was the first army I painted, so it's a little bit amateurish. The Khorne Demon army I can't show you because it's too special. That's why I may need its own video. But here's where I keep a bunch of extra stuff. A bunch of 40k bits and extra Gunpla parts. Here is like a ultrasonic cleaner, some painting masks, some magnets, alligator clips, you name it. So this is kind of bringing the video to a close now. I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end. Again, keep your eyes peeled for the second part of this, for the actual diorama part. I'm very much looking forward to it. It should be pretty cool. And yeah, thanks for checking out and have a good one.
We have failed the Rodina. We have failed ourselves.
Outstanding, Marines! Out-fucking-standing!